have to show you something that's so amazing about Logic 10.5. It's called Auto Sampler. Now, most videos out there are sampling like old, you know, synthesizers, hardware units. I'm going to go ahead and sample my iPad Pro today. So I have an app ready to go. It's called Animoog and it's pretty sweet. And so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I can sample my iPad, and then on top of just being able to play it within Logic, I'm going to go ahead and use Auto Sampler so I can use the samples in the future. So this thing is absolutely next level. To get it set up, you want to go ahead, get into your audio MIDI setup. How do you do that? Go into the Finder, type in audio MIDI setup, and then after that, you want to go ahead and enable your iPad Pro or iPhone. Now make sure that this is connected via a lightning cable. It's a lot more stable. You can also do it via Bluetooth, but this is the way that I'm going to do it right now. And then on top of that, if you want to make sure that you have a secure connection, you want to go to Window, open up MIDI Studio, and you can see here that I am ready to go. So that being said, I'm going to go back into Logic. And so normally with this type of thing, I could just start recording on an audio track. Now, bear in mind, you definitely have to have your input setting to the iPad in order to reap this benefit. So I'm going to hit record, start recording. So there's that audio, and that's great. But what if I wanted to play the MIDI in there? Well, if that is the case, then I want to go ahead and insert an external instrument. So that would be under Utility, External Instrument. Open that up. MIDI destination, iPad, input number 2, and then now I can go ahead and record the MIDI. Now this is contingent on the app you're using and how it's set up. So just make sure that these two things are talking appropriately. You might have to go into your MIDI settings for every single app. And so I'm going to hit record and then start recording the MIDI. All right, let's play that back to see how it translates. Looks like it's getting all the MIDI information as well. Check that out. Now, what's exciting about that is obviously I can use other instruments. Like if I pop in, let's just throw in Alchemy for a second here. I can use my iPad as my MIDI controller. So then now I'm inside of Alchemy. I haven't chosen an instrument, but just check this out. So that in and of itself is pretty sweet, right? So all that to say this next part is the best. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, insert auto sampler on the first slot of the audio insert. So it's right here. I'm going to set that up in mono. And it gets really interesting here because the only thing you have to do, just look at all the various parameters. Here, I'm going to sample the instrument in a very deep way. Now, just for the sake of time, I'm going to reduce the range considerably. I'm just going to do like 1 octave. And the only thing left to do in order to capture this sound into Logic without having to use my iPad anymore is to just hit sample. Here we go. So you gotta love it. It gave me a time frame. I'm just sitting here hanging out, you know, having some water, and then all of a sudden now at my disposal inside of the new sampler, I can access what I just worked on. So it's called test. And so now I'm inside of Logic, forget the iPad, and here it is. So the possibilities become so much more open-ended and amazing. It's just incredible. Like here's some other synthesizers that I sampled. I took my time here. Here, check this out. Now, the reason I'm particularly stoked about this is because not only can you use the auto sampler to, go ahead and sample something outside of Logic, like an iPad Pro, like an iPhone, but you can add reverbs to it. You can add effects before the auto sampler, and you can capture those effects. So you can literally create your own instruments. I mean, like I said, the possibilities are have been multiplied like a thousandfold. But on top of that, you can also sample third-party instruments. So again, I went ahead and I, inserted auto sampler after a chromoverb, and I created this instrument inside of the auto sampler. So it's called Omnisphere Childish Noise Bell with Verb. Here, check it out. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. Again, I just started getting my hands on this and understanding it thoroughly. I even went so far as to put an auto sampler on a bus, and I was capturing the information on the bus and aux track. So the implications, like I said, are various, but now you can create different textures. You know, if you want something that sounds like super far away, you don't have to sample the source sound. You can sample it from a bus coming from a reverb. And that's exactly what I did here. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying 10.5. It's just so great. They really made this the ultimate sampling machine. And so if you guys appreciate the content, if you want more, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate you. We know who you are. Keep your frequency high.